The sturdy steel structure twisted and deformed under the terrifying force. The survivors desperately rushed towards the lifeboats while screaming. When they looked back, they saw the entire drilling platform already tightly entangled by dozens of thick tentacles, slowly dragged towards the abyss. Hello everyone, this is Bowl Film. Today, we bring you this 2025 deep-sea horror blockbuster Polar Assault. The story begins on the icy Greenland Sea in the Arctic. Unbeknownst to them, this very action was awakening a terrifying nightmare slumbering in the abyss. At that very moment, a Russian nuclear submarine on a covert voyage silently glided through these waters. The sonar operator suddenly detected countless unknown detectors densely scattered across the seabed. The captain had just ordered defenses, and when the depth charges deployed by the research team detonated, suffered a violent impact. Countless thick, tenacious tentacles wrapped around it, dragging it into the abyss. In his final moment, the captain managed to launch the distress beacon. Upon receiving the signal, Northern Fleet Command immediately dispatched the rescue submarine Volkov, commanded by the young Captain Matt. The missing captain was his own brother. Meanwhile, amidst a blizzard, Anton and Anna struggled to contact a Norwegian drilling platform, forced to take shelter in an ice crevice due to intermittent signals. They waited. As the snowstorm eased, Anna suddenly spotted a dim crimson glow flickering on the distant ice. Stumbling closer, they discovered that was a half-buried Russian emergency beacon. Anton recognized the equipment's origin. A sudden chill surged within him. This was the Russian Navy's emergency locator device. Anton's expression turned grey. It shouldn't be here. Meanwhile, Matt's submarine had also reached the target waters. The sonar operator urgently. The submarine was surrounded by a pod of orcas. These massive creatures rubbed their bodies against the hull abnormally, emitting rapid bursts of sonar waves, as if desperately conveying some kind of warning. Immediately after, the whale pod scattered and fled in panic. A shadow dozens of times larger than the submarine rapidly ascended from the deep waters on the sonar screen. A lagging whale was struck by a giant tentacle. Blood gushed out instantly. Matt immediately ordered a full ascent. The old executive officer firmly advocated launching a torpedo counterattack. In critical, Matt steered the vessel sharply toward a narrow fissure in the ice overhead. The metal hull violently scraped against ancient ice sheets, producing a continuous piercing screech. In the oppressive silence, the indescribably colossal silhouette finally recedes. Before anyone could catch their breath, Ivanov coldly points out, this action severely violates deep-sea operation protocol. The vessel's structure may have sustained irreversible damage. Matt remains silent. He orders the submarine to continue, heading toward the beacon's source. A steel behemoth crashes through the ice. Fully armed Russian troops emerge from the hatch. After verifying the beacon, Matt's sharp gaze lingers on two disheveled researchers. Upon learning they were Swedish scholars, Ivanov vehemently opposed taking in outsiders, but Matt gazed toward the horizon swallowed by dusk, and ultimately brought them aboard the submarine. In the cramped mess hall, Anna mentioned her study of marine bioacoustic properties. Matt rushed over immediately. Urgently, he asked if she'd detected anomalous submarine signals. Only then did Anna suddenly realize the bizarre acoustic signature recorded during exploration could well be the final trace of that doomed Russian sub. When Anton confessed to dropping 2 sonic charges, Ivanov's face turned ashen. The veteran officer concluded this reckless act had accidentally struck their own submarine. He insisted they must return and report immediately. Yet Matt looked at the timer. If his brother and crew were still alive, their oxygen would last less than a day. At that moment, sonar again captured that bone-chilling sound. A colossal shadow prowled the seabed in the depths. As Matt prepared to activate silent mode again, a Norwegian oil rig abruptly appeared on the radar screens. A dull thud of explosions reverberates underwater. Yet, the shadow on the sonar screen remains undiminished. Cold sweat beads on Ivanov's forehead. Reload and fire 2 more torpedoes. Fuel showed no sign of retreat. As that dreadful shadow nearly engulfed the entire monitor screen, Ivanov had been rendered speechless. Matt fought to regain command. He urgently ordered an emergency, but it was already too late. With a deafening, muffled roar, a massive tentacle covered in suckers the size of truck tires slammed down heavily on the submarine's bow. Even more terrifying, the mountainous shadow slowly descended. 8 giant tentacles swayed slowly around, as if inspecting its captured prey. At this critical moment, Matt suddenly had a thought. He hissed the command to cut off all power. The entire vessel entered silent running again. In the suffocating darkness, flames scorched the bulkheads. Thick smoke stung their eyes, yet everyone clamped hands over mouths and noses, daring not to make a sound. A miracle occurred. The Leviathan, deprived of sonic guidance, grew hesitant. Tentacles only groped blindly nearby. Seizing this opening, the Volkov slid away like an injured great fish, painfully edging through the labyrinth of limbs. After breaking free, the submarine sustained heavy internal damage. Blood kept seeping from the wound on Matt's forehead, yet he keep moving forward. Oxygen in the older brother's submarine is running out. This is the last chance. After learning the reason, Anna carefully examined the nautical chart. She proposed a startling deduction. During their previous exploration, they had detected abnormal life signals near an adjacent trench. Combined with sea monster legends passed among sailors for centuries, she deduced that trench might be the lair of this deep-sea behemoth. Creatures like octopuses often drag prey back to their lars to feed slowly. Therefore, the last hope to find her brother might lie deep within that trench. Clutching their last shred of faith, the submarine headed toward the trench. En route, the sonar suddenly picked up rhythmic knocking. It was a distress signal in Morse code. Reaching the trench where the signal originated, Matt ordered the submarine to hover above the cliff wall. He personally led several crew members in a mini-sub for the rescue dive. The mini-sub slowly descended to the trench floor. Spotlights revealed a horrifying scene. Scattered here lay remnants spanning. The sunken wreckage resembled an underwater graveyard. Soon, within the rust-covered metal skeleton, they found the missing Grach-class sub. The vessel's hull bore a massive tear, its body twisted and deformed. They reasoned that since a signal had been emitted, survivors likely remained. If anyone was alive, they must be in the relatively intact forward compartment. The team piloted the submersible with extreme caution toward the silent wreck. Matt insisted that the injured and weaker members leave first, remaining behind himself. He and his brother stayed behind, waiting for the next extraction. Before parting, the pilot installed a locator beacon on the wreck's exterior, but the moment the beacon activated, the colossal deep-sea creature in the distance seemed to sense something. It began returning to its lair at an astonishing speed. Inside the damaged submarine, Sergei was directing the remaining crew to set the final self-destruct sequence. This nuclear-powered military submarine must never fall into enemy hands. They had to ensure it was completely destroyed after evacuation. Meanwhile, aboard the rescue sub that had just retrieved the first group of evacuees, the sonar operator suddenly issued a panicked alarm. A massive shadowy figure was rapidly approaching from the depths. Captain made a decisive call, steering the sub into a narrow crevice in the seabed. All power systems were shut down. The enraged beast prowled relentlessly outside the crevice, its thick tentacles frantically lashing the rock walls. Yet, it remained unable to reach the hidden target. Finally, this deep-sea demon gave up the pursuit. It turned and pounced on a more conspicuous prey in its nest, the submarine wreck that was still emitting signals. Matt and the others inside the wreck suddenly felt an abnormal vibration in the seawater. Through the porthole, they saw the nightmare-like figure emerging from the deep darkness. At the moment of life and death, Chief Engineer Igor stepped forward. This veteran with 30 years of service decided to personally activate the self-destruct program to buy the last escape time for his companions. He set the sonar system's power to maximum. The piercing sound waves echoed violently in the deep sea. Love with this brave and resolute soldier. Yet the sea remained vast and deep, still concealing secrets unknown to mankind. Perhaps in some deeper trench, other colossal beasts slumber. May they never be awakened.